Time again for some acting. Let's go. Yeah, don't mention it. No, thank you. Thank you for coming. Much appreciated. Yeah. Okay, we have another one. Time for it? Okay, good. Yes, sir. You in the back row, what's your question? I can't hear you. Can you hear him? Nobody can hear you. Donnie, do we have a microphone? We can get that guy. Thank you. Just one sec. Grab the microphone. Fire away, sir. What's your question?
Thank you. I was just wondering, in your opinion, what is the best overall submachine gun in the world?
Is that working right? Is the microphone working? It is. We don't have a problem with the reverb or anything. That's his voice. That's his actual voice. Okay, sir. Thank you. First, I recommend you go see a doctor immediately because something's messed up with your voice. I'm worried about you. Yeah, go get looked at. We're just worried about you. That's all. And for the second part, you said, what's the best submachine gun in the world? You're serious, right? That's a serious question. We'll assume it's serious. Okay. Well, the answer is everybody knows the answer. That's your answer. It's kind of a retarded question. I don't mean to offend you, sir. I really don't. But it's kind of a retarded question. Because everybody knows. Donnie knows that it's the Uzi. That's the best submachine gun in the world. Everyone says so. Right? And if everybody says so, it's truth. The Uzi is the best. Haven't you seen the TV shows? Delta Force? Damn, boy, where you been? What about all the movies through the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, and then they kind of tapered off in quality. Yeah, he's nodding his head up and down. They're horrible now. Yeah, Uzi, bro. Yeah, a bushman in sub-Sahara Africa. If you ask him that question in his native tongue, he will answer exactly this word, Uzi. He knows. He knows. Hands down, the best submachine gun ever made by mankind. In terms of service, units produced, everybody knows this. And then by way of association, the Uzi semi-auto carbine, also the best PCC in the world, right? Everybody knows this, right? Donnie, he's nodding his head up and down. Okay, so I don't mean to offend you, sir. Stupid question. Uzi. Okay, give him the mic. I can't understand him. Go ahead.
Okay, I understand that, sir, but I watched this Nutnfancy video, and he said it was kind of a piece of shit.
Who? Oh, Nutnfancy. Okay. Yeah, fucking guy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's always right. No, don't listen to him. No, don't ever watch his videos. Don't support him. He doesn't know. No, he's crap. What? You watch him? You never told me you watch him, bro. What? You agree with him? I thought you just said it was the best. Freak, dude. And scene. Acting. I need to do that more often, right? You guys are getting involved, right? You're like, leaning forward, like, what's going on, man? I'm really getting into this scene. Welcome to my warehouse review of the, you guessed it, Uzi. Uzi, the best submachine gun in the world. Well, this is a semi-automatic carbine, but we'll pretend. Uzi, the best submachine gun in the world, right? Well, you heard my bro. He said Nutnfancy said it was kind of shitty. Is that true?
Yes, it's kind of true.
Oh my gosh, another Contrarian TMP opinion to the world. And keep in mind, I never do this for views. My views suck. I'm shadow banned by YouTube for over 12 years. I'm never in the recommended feed. My subscriptions on the A channel and YouTube have been frozen, essentially frozen for over a decade. How does that even happen? My subs should be around like 1.8 mil at least. I've been doing this for 19 years. Shadow banned. Do what you can to fight this algorithm and, the commies in YouTube fighting against this level of entertainment and truth. Subscribe. I know it's the least we can do. Hit the notification bell. Become a paying donor to the Nutnfancy Project in patreon.com or PayPal link below. Why do I need your money? We're going to talk about the Uzi. Trust me, we are going to talk. It'll be a review on the type you've never seen before. You never saw it coming. I told you the best days of TMP are yet to come. Proof positive here in the warehouse with this entertaining review. My first purpose is to entertain. If I fail at that, I have failed. I might impart some hard swallow information along the way, but I have to entertain. If it's not fun to watch, click away, go watch something else. Back to the money issue. I do talk about it, not a lot, but a fair amount. I do run banners, patreon.com. I'm sorry. I know they're annoying. But this is a viewer-supported effort that we are engaged in. The Nutnfancy Project. It's a project. We go from one thing to another at very high rate. It is decades long. I think I have about 20 more years to go. 20? That might be pushing it. 15 at least. Assuming I'm healthy and alive. And aliens don't kidnap me and probe my butthole. Anyways, back to the money thing. Why do I need it? Because reviews like this are damn expensive. I'm going to lift the veil just a little bit and tell you about this review. How much it cost to do it. Okay? Be a paying donor. Don't be a paying donor. Whatever. But the money allows me to do reviews like this for expensive items I cannot obtain anywhere else. I've been trying for 10 years to not get the Uzi submachine gun, but to get the Uzi semi-automatic carbine, the PCC, which you're looking at here. Legal 16-inch barreled version. I know it's a little bit goofy looking, but it actually hangs on a gun rack quite well because of that long barrel. Very nice, and it's a more velocity, quieter if you care. Anyways, I couldn't get one. I had a contact about 8 years ago. Oh, I got one. I'll get it to you. Never heard from them. People are unreliable. Fell through. Another one fell through. Didn't happen. I just had to go out and buy it on the market. And by the way, that's not easy. This is a Vector Arms produced in North Salt Lake City Uzi. And let me tell you, they are rare. They're going to go up in value no matter what I say in this video. And it will be kind of negative in some ways. Just saying. But in terms of second cool, they're tops, and they are rare. It's such a limited commodity that they did. It's just going to keep going up in value. So I had to go in the market and purchase it. Yeah, do I mind doing that? Not with Patreon support, to be honest. If I have the money, that's what you guys pay me to do. Make content. It means I'm independent. I'm not beholden to anybody. I didn't go to IWI, try to pull some strings with them. Can you get me a Uzi Carbine? I have no contact with them anymore. I used to many years ago, no more. I had to go purchase it. Long story long, in terms of purchasing the gun, buying extra magazines, that I did go to IWI for, but I purchased them, did not get them for free because I only had 25 round mags. This came with the gun, the used gun I purchased, the 25 rounders. Pretty cool, actually. Heavy Cordura Israeli ammo pouch. That's pretty damn cool. In terms of the money spent on the gun, the magazines, the ammunition, a lot of ammo, I won't factor in my time because that would really throw things out of whack. I mean, we're talking astronomical amounts. Gasoline, food, accommodation, blah, 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 at least $5,000. How's that for a number? No, I'm not making that up. That's just lifting the cover a little bit on what happens in the Nutnfancy Project. But I have my Patreon guys, so they're donating. I got chunks of money. How am I going to spend that money? What's the best way I can serve my audience in doing that? I'm going to go buy a Uzi Carbine. Boom. You guys like gun reviews? You like fun guns? We're going to touch base, beat up on the Uzi myth. Is it really a myth? Slow down. Don't type your comment out yet. Just wait. We're going to talk about that. There's a lot to talk about. I'll try to go expeditiously, but, you know, if it's a 50-minute video, I don't give a shit. I'm a long-form content creator, and we're here to have a good time. I wish the very few content creators I watch, and not in the gun realm, I don't watch anybody in the gun realm. I wish they were long form content creators. Most of them are like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I watch a video and it's like, it's over. I got to go find something else to watch, please. Please. Oh my gosh. So here we are in the darkening warehouse. By the way, I did this whole video, fun fact. Did the whole thing. The video turned out absolutely fun. Fantastic. I was super happy with it. Went to go import it into my movie program. The audio was not working. What? The audio totally didn't work. And it's because, it goes through a laptop. The laptop was not plugged in. So we are, round 2. This will be even a better review. Speaking of which, these are always free form. I have a couple notes that I try to integrate. I might hit some things and maybe I forget them. Don't really care. Number 1, the Uzi legend and or myth. That's an interesting thing, right? Because the Uzi is so well known. It is probably one of the most known weapons in the world. Now, that dude said in the acting intro that a bushman in Africa would know the Uzi, and I don't think that's too far off. That's how common it is known. Primarily, in my opinion, because of television and movies. For the longest time, it was the submachine gun of choice for both good guys and bad guys. You cannot turn on the television. Miami Vice would be a good example without seeing a ton of Uzis in play. The main reason for it is because it looks badass. Less so with this long 16-inch barrel, I'll give you that. It looks better with a stubby 10.2-inch barrel, but it's a great looking gun. That's why. And not only that, in current events, Uzis were seen for the longest time. I mean, we had the Secret Service break it out when they were protecting Reagan during the assassination attempt, right? I think it was a mini Uzi. The Secret Service used a Uzi from the 60s on into the, the 90s, I think they had it. All kinds of militaries. The IDF, of course, used it in all types of battles. One of the most prolific submachine guns of all time. I'm not going to delve into every aspect of the Uzi history, and we're kind of pretending that we are reviewing the Uzi submachine gun along with this PCC, right? Are you with me on that? So don't split hairs and go, well, that's not an Uzi. Well, it actually is. I mean, yes, there's some mechanical differences, which I will talk about before the video ends, between a fully automatic open bolt Uzi submachine gun and the closed bolt floating firing pin version of the semi-automatic carbine. And by the way, these are rare. Did I mention that? In my opinion, they're rare. You will not see them around very often. There are some differences, but it's basically an Uzi, right? Philosophy of use then. Let's hit this. Are young dudes in love with the Uzi? And I'm talking generally. I'm generalizing here. As much as the boomers are and the Gen Xers are. Yeah, but Gen Xers in my generation, we look, and again, I'm generalizing. I'm not necessarily talking about myself. We look to the Uzi and go, oh my gosh, it is a grail gun to have in my collection. I don't want just a replica. I don't want an airsoft. I don't want a BB gun. I want a real Uzi. Carbine is okay. Ideally, guy would want a $25,000 registered Class 3 Uzi submachine gun. And by the way, I have a friend that has that. And I fired it in the early 2000s multiple times. If I can find that video, it's buried somewhere. I'll overlay it, but I don't know if I can find it. But Dar had one. I went out and shot with him multiple times, and it was really fun to shoot. And my opinion of the Uzi back then was, well, as pretty much everyone said, it's a really awesome machine gun, submachine gun. And I too would, in my fantasies, would love to have owned one. Now, I think that a Smith & Wesson Model 76, in my opinion, the Navy SEAL Smith & Wesson, which is a Carl Gustaf, to me, I wanted that way more than I would want a Uzi. But the Uzi was up there. The question I have once again is, are the young people, you younger dudes, are you lustful after an Uzi? I know it's featured in video games. I know you've fought with them in video games, but do you look at it and go, oh, I'd love to have an Uzi? One reason I ask is because I'm famous here in the project For looking at the market, I feel like I know the gun market very well. Actually, everything I review, I feel like I have a sense of what will sell and what won't sell. A case in point would be when I reviewed the Colt Python many years ago. It's like 2008. I believe in that video even, I said, hey, Colt, you need to make this gun again. It will sell, even if it's expensive. Dudes will purchase it. I did say that. And it took a long time. And I said that in multiple other videos. I said it in tweets. Colt, please bring out the Python, the Anaconda, the King Cobra. And they did it. Now, no, not just because of me. There are other people, same thing. Please make them. And you know what? Those guns, dudes, are selling like crazy. Like a gun store gets them in, and they're expensive. They're like $1,500 or more. They're not cheap. Guys buy them all the time. They're Grail revolvers for people. Proving the case, if there's pent-up demand, if you do your product right, and it's a high-quality product, reliable, beautiful, fine craftsmanship, accurate, ticking off all the boxes, dudes will line up to purchase it. Sometimes cost notwithstanding. I'm not kidding about that. Cost notwithstanding, guys will line up to purchase it. Another case in point is the Browning High Power. For years I said, bring out copies of the Browning High Power. Or, Browning, you do it. Again, just like the Mark I. And lo and behold, we've had some amazing Browning High Power copies. Clones come out and they're selling very well as I understand it. Back to the Uzi though. Is that same demand there for the Uzi? Here I'm not so sure. Here I'm not going to say, oh yeah, IWI, you need to come out with an Uzi Classic carbine. It'll look just like this, basically same gun. Make it fresh. Maybe you put a pick rail on it or something, but just like this, would it sell? I don't know. Because my generation is going to die off soon enough. Gen Xers right after us. It's up to you Gen Zers and beyond to keep the gun thing going. And you guys need to carry the weight, maintain the Second Amendment, the right to own and keep your firearms, even normal capacity firearms. I just don't know. I'll be interested to see in comment if you have a liking for the Uzi and willing to pay a pretty penny, because if they came out with a new one, don't expect it to be an $800 gun. Spitballing, $1,500. I know it's stamped metal. I know this, but they're going to have to gin it up. I don't know if they still have the plans for it, blah, blah, blah. It ain't going to be cheap. Never is. Let me know. Would you buy it? Philosophy of Houston, to satiate the demand for dudes just wanting to own that quintessential Miami Vice submachine gun. Dang, it is just cool. It's dripping with cool, right? Everybody knows it. That guy in the back, he knew it. Maybe he didn't. Do I know it? Well, in terms of second cool, I will not fight that. It is, in second cool we're talking about, is it just fun to have? Fun to fondle while you watch the Nutnfancy project. Yes, yes, yes. Can you imagine, having this in your office in a very cool red velvet gun mount with combat imagery behind it, some magazines, this one right here. So you have this magazine right here and you just have a display piece. Assuming you're in a neighborhood where you don't have to worry about someone breaking in and stealing it. Big problem these days, by the way. But let's just pretend. Dude one of your buddies walks in, he sees a firing Uzi on your wall. Do you think you're going to be talking about that gun? That's damn cool. It's damn cool. Philosophy of Youth then is just that collectability, just having your collection, ticking off that box like, oh, I got an Uzi. And also just, this is the other half of it, is learning about the Uzi, something that I've been doing ever since I bought this one. I'm not an Uzi expert. I'll probably get some details wrong, so sorry. I had to learn some things about it, things that I will talk about here, that a lot of them I don't like. But it took me a while to understand the type, but being able to talk as a shooter about a gun is huge. It's one thing to just talk extemporaneously, watch movies and you don't really know what the hell you're talking about. But having spent like 2,000 rounds with a piece, you kind of get to know the gun.
I've heard of
and you
ways.
Can point out some good things and some bad things. Philosophy of use in home defense? Absolutely not. No way, dude. I would never want this. There's so many great options. Generally, it's going to be a pistol. And the pistol tonight that I'll recommend for home defense is my favorite caliber, 10 millimeter FN 510, boys. with a 20 round mag. Is that 20 or 22? 22 round mag, bro. Of course, it's blocked to 10. Yeah, this is awesome. Threaded barrel. This is a perfect pistol that you'd want for home defense. This one doesn't have a pick rail, even though it's supposedly compact. You still have that 16-inch barrel in the semi-automatic version, and it's heavy as hell. Did I mention that yet? I will hit on this multiple times. With a 32 round magazine, which you see here, blocked to 10 rounds, of course. Dude, 8 pounds, 10 ounces. What the hell? 8 pounds, 10 ounces? That's a lot. Without a mag, 8 pounds, 2 ounces. That's as heavy as an AR-10.
Whoa. Whoa.
So we're going to say no to home defense vehicle gun in semi-automatic form. No, thank you.
Nothing.
No, thank you. Recreational use. Oh, I love that one. That one's fun because now you're tying into that love of the Uzi submachine gun, even though it's semi-automatic.
Okay.
People won't care. They're just going to have a big grin on their face. Go tell their friends, hey, I shot a submachine gun. They didn't shoot a submachine gun. They shot a PCC. They won't care. They don't know the difference. But how fun would this be to break out at a family reunion at a place you have to shoot? It'll be the talk of the reunion. Hey, man, Dan brought his Uzi submachine gun. Not a submachine gun. And we all shot. It was so fun. We're shooting cans, and he set up a steel plate. Yeah, that's a real POU.
So last half of the mag seems to look better.
Forget about it. Way too expensive. And I won't say the price because honestly, I don't remember exactly. I just know they're going up, up, and up. I went into Gunbroker tonight. There are 0 Vector Arms Uzi PCCs there for sale. 0. None. We're done with POU. I might remember some other stuff. Let's go into features. Is it a big difference to have this big, long, gangly barrel hanging off your gun? Does that make it look somewhat stupid versus a real Uzi submachine gun, Nutnfancy? The answer is yes, you're right, it does. It's not threaded, so it's not a modern one. Now, this is a barrel collar. You can't unscrew that, and that's very AK-like, so it has a detent, spring-loaded detent. You just unscrew that. You can put different lengths of barrels in there. However, as I understand it, there are dimensional differences between a submachine gun Uzi and a semi-automatic Uzi. I'm not sure if those barrels would actually fit in there. But there's probably a way that you could put a shorter one on than SBR the gun as a semi-automatic Uzi. It just depends how much time and money you want to spend on it. But yeah, it looks a little bit goofy. But like I said, it's kind of nice to put on a rack because a stubby barrel like that, how do you hang it up? I mean, I have this stock. I'll show you. Extends. It just makes it nice. The barrel quality, from what I can tell, is very high quality. I can say that everything about this gun, as made by Vector Arms, I think probably in the late 90s. I'm not positive on that. Everything is bespoke of quality. Absolutely. So Group Industries, as I understand it, have purchased a whole bunch of Uzi parts like receivers, and they got ATF authority to do so, to produce them as semi-automatic carbines. Group went out of business. They sold all the parts to Vector Industries, who later went out of business. But before they did, they were successful in producing a small amount, and I say relatively speaking, of 9mm semi-automatic carbines. I think they did some full auto pieces for agencies as well. So Vector Arms is very well known, I think, in the Uzi community and very highly sought after. Everything about this is high quality. The barrel, the machining, the parkerization, the fit and finish. There is a rub to that. I will talk about it. The fit and finish is top notch. Everything just looks fantastic. In fact, when I got this gun, I looked at it and it looked like it had never been shot. It was sold as a used piece. And I looked inside. I was like, damn, has anyone even shot this? There's some desert wear on it now, sadly. This is desert wear. Testing guns in the desert, taking them in the Wolverine is just hard. And I probably should have taken a little bit better care of this so I can maintain its value. But whatever. It's a TMP reviewing gun. Its job is to be tested and to get reviewed. The sights on the Uzi are one of the things I absolutely hate. Some of you guys say, what are you talking about? Especially Uzi guys. Oh, they're great, man. You got a flippable aperture. What is it? 1 and 2, like 100 meter, 200 meter. As if. This gun is like a 50 meter gun. Even the IDF said that. Like, hey, 50 meters beyond that, you need to go get a Galil. Some heavy rifle. FN foul. Yeah, I'd say probably inside of 25 yards. That's just me, though. I need to close this door, though, by the way, while we're talking. The sights then are not my favorite thing. One thing I don't like is you cannot adjust them at the rear. All you can do is flip this aperture, although not like an AK drum. Same type of concept, smaller aperture, bigger aperture. I think I tested it on that 100 the entire time. Protective wings here, they're very strong, awesome. The front sight right here, I have painted with fluorescent orange. You see that? And then we have wings right here, also protective in nature. It's like an AK. All your adjustments on the sight are going to be accomplished right here, both elevation and windage. And by the way, I did not do a great job doing that, as you will detect from my target, which is, the target's good, but I probably should have done a better job of actually zeroing the sights. Here's another thing I do not like about the Uzi. This is your top cover. This is your charging handle. You have a slot in your charging handle so you can see your sights. Both the charging handle and the top cover are non-reciprocating, right? You just charge it. And I think you have to, when you do that, have to press your grip safety here to do so. So we charge it, let it go back. What I have learned is this top cover in relation to the top of the bolt, that dimension is critical. It needs to be, if I'm remembering right, 0.005 to 0.001. Make sure I'm getting that right. It's a critical dimension. 0.005 to 0.010. If you're like 0.015, like 15 thousandths of an inch, you could have like a runaway problem with your Uzi semi-automatic. It's a problem. I did not know this because the Uzi was sold to us and billed as the tank of submachine guns, was it not? That it would just run and run. It was very non-problematic, very reliable, non-finicky. As you will see in my testing, I found it to be exactly the opposite. I found it to be like most 1960 era, this is actually 50s to 60s era guns that I've tested, and I found it to have all kinds of reliability problems. Jumping ahead, right? That's why that guy quoted me saying that it's kind of shitty. You wouldn't think that'd be the case, right? Stamped receivers, big block of reciprocating steel, telescoping the barrel, by the way. So if you don't know this, one reason why a submachine gun in the barrel will be like this, it's so short in overall length, is because the barrel extends all the way back here or so, and the overlapping bolt actually goes around the barrel. The Uzi wasn't the first one to do that. It's pretty common, I believe, in second-gen submachine guns. But that's it. But that's a big chunk of steel. We'll get to that big chunk of steel and reliability too. But yeah, that's a thing there. I learned that, well, a lot of the weight comes from that chunk of steel too. And also everything's steel in this thing. Also, we have sling swivels right here attached to this gun, and you see them slung all the time at checkpoints. And when I was in the military, I'd go overseas. I can't tell you how many times I'd see dudes with Uzis, and they'd be like burnished like silver. Burnished silver because the guys had worn it so long. I'm talking about like, where would I see them? All through the Mideast countries, I'd see them. African countries have them. Some other weird places have them, like France. I used to see some Uzis running around. Not so much anymore. I've been retired for a while, so it doesn't matter. But back in the day, I saw them. I do not like this bulbous forend here. I know I'm being picky. I know this is a 1950s design, bro. I get it. IDF used it from 54 to 2003. They tapered off before 2003, but they had them in inventory. I understand all that. But it's more interesting to review it against modern PCCs, I think. But this is garbage. It's fat. There's hardly any traction. It's cycloic plastic, whatever the heck it is, just injected plastic. And the grip is the same way. I get it. And to be honest, it's representative of all the other submachine guns of the era as well. They had the same thing, or would, or they were worse than the Uzi. But I wasn't holding this and go, oh my gosh, it just drops in hand. The balance is perfect. Every time I hold the Uzi, I feel like, damn, I'm picking up my girlfriend from high school again, like lifting her. That's what I feel like. I'm like, my back is going out. This thing is so effing heavy. Yeah, it's slickery. If I had one and I was shooting it just, I don't know, for first cool, I would probably put some A-grip traction material here. The trigger is pretty good. It's a weird interface with the Uzi because it doesn't have a hammer. The tolerances can be particular on the trigger. And the trigger is basically, I want to make sure I get this right. It controls the firing pin holding mechanism in the Uzi semi-automatic carbine. That's what it's doing. And a floating fire pin once again, and a closed bolt once again. So the automatic, the bolt is open. When you pull the trigger, it's kind of a delay because that bolt goes forward and it goes to full automatic fire, and then it locks to the rear when you're done. I much prefer a closed bolt design for accuracy and for smoothness of shooting. But again, everyone acted like the Uzi was just amazing. Amazing. Features, still going through it. The trigger then, I didn't really measure it, but I think in terms of pull, it's adequate. Big trigger guard, no surprise there. We have basically a side magazine release right here. Here's a look in the magazine compartment, the pistol butt area that accepts a magazine. Another innovative design if you're really talking about it, because if we were to look at the MP38, which is a Gen 1 submachine gun, it was forward, right? The magazine isn't back here, and they found this in combat to be a problem because you couldn't go prone as easily. It's good to hang on to, even though the German military said don't hang on to the magazine. You see it a lot in the movies. They were taught to hang up here, so you weren't changing the feed angle on your rounds. So MP38, good representation of a Gen 1. Hey, you didn't see that one coming. Cast member making an appearance once again. The magazines, they come in 20 round, 25 round, 32 round. I've heard there's 40, 50. Who it was? Oh, it's Vector Arms did it. 70 round, and then Betamax had a 100 rounder. I didn't see any of those. They just established the 32 as the most reliable one. These magazines are excellent if you use IWI. Speaking of which, in terms of quality, I have to give a shout out to IWI. I can't think of a single gun that I've ever, and this isn't IWI, this is a Vector, but they took over the name and IWI and all that. You understand that. They're great guns. IWI makes everything good. And if you buy magazines, I recommend you go directly to IWI. And now, maybe the Uzi pros know better than me, but I think these are the best magazines you can get. Yes, they will be a little bit more money. But pay money, get more quality. The magazines are pretty easy to load, I thought. They're too fat to use your Uplula loading assister. Yeah, IWI labeled that one. These are black. I think parkerized. I don't think they're painted. Very rugged. And then I showed you the 20 rounders. I'm not sure of the origin of these. I talked about the barrel. The takedown is pretty easy. One thing I don't like is putting the top cover on is problematic with this retention lever right here. I had to really work to get it back on, but maybe I'm a retard. I probably am. Here's an amazing thing right here. In 1956, they came out with this folding metal stock. It is rather wobbly when it's in position, but that, again, is very representative of the era. They didn't really care about minute of angle accuracy. They wanted minute of man at 50 meters, even though the sights were marked differently. I will say this folding stock from Vector, which is a Uzi submachine gun stock, is not comfortable, but it is very sturdy and it's bold. I wouldn't be like knocking down doors with it, but it's stamped steel. There's no plastic. The spring is strong. It's very easy to deploy and redeploy, and then it locks with that little notch right there. It's just really a great stock. Modern manufacturers should take a page from the Uzi stock, at least in terms of simplicity, ease of use, speed of deployment, and strength. I think this one is a better stock, the wooden stock for the Uzi. Now, with a carbine, you can mount this back on. I don't think there's any legality problems if you put this on your carbine. I don't think so. If you SBR'd it, had a short barrel, I think also you could put it on. But Uzi guys in the comments will let you know. They'll know exactly. But this, if you're wondering, does not snap on here. This is meant for Uzi submachine gun. And speaking of which, there's just all kinds of differences between the types. So again, this is a semi-auto carbine, right? And then we have the submachine gun. I'm going to go down very quickly just because I want it in this record of the differences. Because guys might say, well, I'm going to run out. You're not going to run out and get a semi-auto Uzi carbine anyway. There's just not any for sale that I can see. But let's say you found one. And you go, I'm going to convert it. Well, legalities aside, and I always recommend you just stay legal. It's just not worth the problems. And myself, I never have a need for fully automatic weapons. I've always said that. I can't afford to feed my semi-autos. Logistically speaking, I'm maxed out. How in the hell can I feed a submachine gun, dude? I'm already going through thousands of dollars of ammunition. No sponsor as of yet. Holy cow. Differences, though, core differences between the Uzi subgun and the carbine as follows. Bolt and firing mechanism are different. I talked about that, open versus closed bolt. Firing pin design, fixed versus floating firing pin in the semi-auto. Selector and trigger group differences. So you're going to have different markings on the side. This is just a semi-auto, as you can see. Receiver modifications, and there is some blocking in certain variations, meaning that it won't accept a full auto bolt because there's blocks there or other parts. Again, I don't know everything dealing with this, but trigger parts can be a problem. Barrel and trunnion differences. So sometimes the barrel nut and support ring will be different. It won't accept a submachine gun barrel. I don't know how to tell the difference. Top cover cocking slot differences. Receiver and internal geometry and material differences. I think that's most of them. So what I'm saying here is when they came out with this one, I think they told Vector to say, hey, you got to make sure that guys can't throw in like a fully auto trigger pack in here. It's not a pack, but a trigger mechanism, and easily convert it to full auto. And that's how they signed off with this gun being produced. Because at the time, like in the 1980s, all the way to the 90s, you'd go to Shotgun News and you could see Uzi parts all over. You'd see everything you need to make an Uzi. You could order them off and get them shipped to your house in the 1980s. I'm not even kidding you. All the way to the 90s, Shotgun News was selling Uzi parts. And so when they came out with this one, trust me, the ATF knew all about this. They're like, let's make it super difficult for a guy to make this full auto. That being said, sometimes if there is a mechanical problem in a semi-auto Uzi, it can do a runaway. It can like triple tap, double tap, and do all kinds of funky things, as I understand it. But that's not because of the user. It's because there's a mechanical malfunction going on here with this weird interface to the trigger. That's features. How did it shoot? Like shit. Yes, sir. You in the back. What do you have to say?
I told you that Nutnfancy would said it's kind of shitty.
Dude, I'm being honest with you. I was astonished at how unreliable the gun was when I took it out. And remember, when I took it out, I looked at it. I was like, this is kind of a new gun. It looks new. Very few rounds, high quality. I get out there, jam, 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 jam. And maybe I'd get a magazine that would mostly run good. And then it would stop. One of the things I later learned, and granted, I was kind of a novice, you need high impulse ammunition to run your Uzi, whether it's a full auto, semi-auto, and Uzi guys are probably nodding up and down and go, yeah, dude, you should have known that. Well, I didn't know that. I kind of knew it, but I wasn't like going, oh, I really need to use something high impulse like CCI mini mags with certain 22 pistols. And I think that if I'm running a brass load, that should be sufficient. But there are several brands I tried, didn't like it. But I think there was other things. The trigger was not working properly. It was jamming. It was stovepiping. And I was like, do I fix this? So I dug in to the internet and I found out some differences. I'll put a page down below. Exactly. It takes you to Uzi Talk forum. Yeah. And there's some good guys that put together some things to check if your Uzi, whether it's a full auto or semi-auto carbine, is having problems to go through. The spacing on the top cover is one of them. You also will check your ejector, which is riveted to the bottom receiver. That has to be very tight. There's a way to tighten it up. Your extractor has to have certain things with it. It'll show you what a good extractor looks like. I think they list like 4 or 5 things to go over Uzi. And I did that. I looked, everything looked right. I was like, I don't have time. So I sent it off to a gunsmith. I actually drove it to him. Took 4 weeks to do that. I've had this gun for about a year, actually. I've been working on this project for a year. I get it back. I'm like, smiles, like, oh, cool. Now it's fixed. Nope. Not fixed. Still jamming. And I tried different mags. So you're like, what's the magazine issue? Dude, I have 3 different brands. The best ones I just showed you. I have another one. I don't know really what the derivation of it, the origin of it is. So you see this one. This one's marked Uzi Pro. Oh, so that's actually, Uzi Pro is actually IWI. So that's what this is. It's this one right here. Sorry, I should have known that. The Uzi Pro is actually a pistol that IWI came out with, and it has pick rails on the side, a Sarge charging handle, and updated appearance. You can put an optic on it. Like I said, it's still 5 pounds though. I don't think that thing sold very well because without a stock, it's kind of dumb, right? It's kind of dumb. Anyways, back to the desert and the curse of the desert, more importantly. So I spent this money, I spent this time, gun's still unreliable. I'm like, damn. Don't you hate it when you spend a fair amount of money and you're not getting the performance that you paid for? Are you with me on that? You spent a lot of money. You're like, damn, son, why is this thing not shooting? Back to the gunsmith it went. And now, if it comes back and it's still unreliable, I don't know what to do other than bring it to the bunker or warehouse in this case and just rail on it and go, this thing is just crap. Already, though, I'll be honest, my understanding and impression of the Uzi product is in the toilet. Now, you can say, by the way, you can say, well, that's unreasonable. That's one of one. Okay, I'll agree with that. But at the same time, bro, at the same time, this is an Uzi, right? This is billed as the T-72 tank of the submachine gun world, and it's failing. Should it be that temperamental? How many guns have I tested that are not temperamental? I bring them out of the box, they just go bang, 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 bang all the time. Granted, this is a modern production, I get it. But I mean, the Uzi, bro, we're talking about the Uzi. It was built like the AK. You just throw it in the dirt, throw it in the desert, banging in and out of armored cars and tanks, go door to door, house to house fighting. It's always going to be there for you when you need it. No, it's not. Going back to POU, would I ever put this in a serious defensive POU? Absolutely not. Even a fully automatic Uzi, I wouldn't do it. With one caveat. The caveat is if I'm in a unit, like in the 80s, whatever unit, whether it's a law enforcement agency, IDF, and I have an experienced armorer that's maintaining those guns, I would trust the Uzi. Because I know dude's looking at it. He knows exactly what needs to be done. He knows all the tolerances. He has all the parts. His parts bins are stacked. So if he has any problem, he just puts a new part in it. I think when they're dialed in, lubricated well, I think the Uzi's fantastic. There, I said it. But that's not me. I'm kind of a retard when it comes to doing everything that a gun needs. But isn't that what you want your tester to be? You want them to say, hey, man, I'm just going to take this out of the box and see if it runs. And the answer is, it didn't. Now, did the user prior to me do something to this gun? Quite possible. Quite possible to screw it up. Let's acknowledge that. So I get it back from the gunsmith, take it out to the desert, not having too high hopes. And lo and behold, it ran mostly good. Mostly good. There were still a couple stoppages here and there, but I was running the highest impulse ammo I had, not FMJ 124 plus P, but I was running 124s. It ran good. I had 2 magazines of hollow points, ran good. I think I had 1 stoppage in there. I can't remember exactly. I'll do the overlay video here and there. I won't get carried away on it. But mostly I was like, okay, it's fixed. No trigger problems. And I was like, thank you. So now my opinion was elevated, kind of. How's the accuracy, Nutnfancy? Please tell me I brought my target out. I didn't bring my target out. Oh my gosh. After all that, I didn't bring my target out. I'll overlay it. The accuracy, which I do have on my phone, by the way, was better than expected. Because when I read some reports of that being used in field, I think the overall take was not very accurate past 50 meters. There's an indication. I'll overlay this photo for you. So some fairly good groups, and that's just shooting off a bog pod, dude. That's not even off a rest. Like I said, the sights have a lot of slop in them. They are very imprecise. They're hard to adjust. The stock is uncomfortable. Cheek weld is hard. It's hard to get a cheek weld and see exactly through that peep. I have a problem with it, but it's probably because my face is so fat. I did okay, though. My groups were like this. With more time, I could shrink them like that, and that was at only 30 yards. So accuracy is good. Reliability was in the toilet. It just was. And I feel like I'm a contrarian voice in this, but now as I think, I bet I'll see comments below like, oh yeah, I had one, it was a problem, kept going back to, I bet it's a thing. I just didn't see it. I've always thought, everyone thought the Uzi was amazing. So if you ask me, would I buy a Vector Arms semi-automatic Uzi Carbine, PCC? I have a 2-part answer for you. In terms of first cool, i.e. a capability in roll, the answer is no. In terms of second cool, assuming you get it to run right, mostly right, the answer is yes. It's always going to be a coveted firearm. No matter what I've said in this video, a lot of guys, it'll go in one ear, out the other. And again, it could just be this one. Maybe there's a ton more out there, but I did a lot of research, and it seems like those top cover instances, the amount where it's causing problems, and they seem prevalent. In terms of second cool, nothing will ever top the Uzi in a lot of ways. I mean, just because we had decades of all the exposure in pop culture, movies, video games, law enforcement agencies, seeing it on the news, it's just burned into people's memory banks, and there will always be a demand for this gun. So no, it's a two-part answer. So no and then yes. Do you get it? You need to figure out if you're in the market for Uzi Carbine. You got to figure out, what are you after? Are you out to scratch the Uzi itch? Are you out to scratch the submachine gun itch? There are better ways to do it, and one of them might be an MP38. Yeah, you might try that. MP40 would be even better. I like the MP38 better. It is cool. I just reviewed this, so the Mac Defense Mac 5. So cool, dude. 5 pounds, 8 ounces. Dude, it's like my second girlfriend. So this was my first girlfriend in high school. She was kind of fat, chunky, but damn, she had some titties on her. That was awesome. So the Uzi's like her. So she's got some titties on her, but dude, she's portly. And then my second girlfriend, not as much titty, but man, easy and just as sexy. Actually sexier. I think MP5 is even sexier. I think it's more of a grail gun. So you have Israeli versus German. I think I know which one will win. I think I know. So speaking of donation dollars, I bought that brace for this Mac 5. I bought that sound device for it. And here it is coming into play as a competitive option once again. I'd buy this all day long in terms of first cool and second cool over this gun. And it's a lot less expensive and more available. This is a modern production, even though it's based on the 1960s design. I told you, what are you after? Are you after like first cool, the capabilities, subcompactness? Well, sub 2K. Here's the latest variation. I reviewed that this summer. This is a 5728, as you can see by my awesome nerdy labeling, of which I'm famous for, running a hollow sun on it. I know that does make it thicker. Yep, that's what he said. Anyways, this is a modern representation of a PCC that is just fantastic. So this is a Kel-Tec that has the swiveling fore end on it like that. This is so lightweight. I mean, when you handle this after handling the Uzi, it's like a different world, dude. A different world in capabilities. The optic is awesome. The trigger's better. Everything's better. Ergonomically, it's better. What I'm saying is you have to understand what you want. We're not always after this. Sometimes we're after this. Wood, steel, history, coolness. And in terms of that, the Uzi will always be a win. In terms of first cool, it's going to be a mixed bag, bro. And I've proven that with this video. I really have. And my overlay. Yeah, did I cover everything? Oh, they came out with different variations, but this is a submachine gun. They had the mini Uzi and the micro Uzi. The mini had a faster cyclet rate. I'm kind of acting like this is a submachine gun review too. 950 rounds per minute, 1,200 rounds per minute for the micro. Back in the 90s, I did shoot a fully automatic micro Uzi, and I will tell you it was extremely hard to hit with. Very hard to hit with. This heavier one, the full-size carbine especially, much easier to hit with just because, well, it's settled down. Very settled down. Would I go out and buy like the new production Uzi Pro from IWI? Absolutely not. I would not. Not recommend it at all. This one, by the way, in full auto form, normal, 600 rounds per minute. In the 45 ACP version, 500 rounds. So it's kind of like an M3 grease gun. Go. Nutnfancy review the M3. Please. Dude, this was so expensive. Getting an M3 will be even harder. So in summary, things I hate about the Uzi. The weight. I hate it. The sights. I hate it. Trigger I can deal with, but it's a finicky trigger. How it interfaces with the bolt group could be problematic. I like the impulse. I didn't talk about this. The impulse, you have that, I said I was going to mention that reciprocating mass. It is just a simple blowback gun, right? From a closed bolt. Hence, we need the high impulse ammunition to cycle said bolt. But you can feel it. It's a lot of recoil, but I kind of liked it. I think once it was running, shooting the Uzi was a rush. I thought it was very fun. Finicky with ammunition, like I said. Critical top cover gap and a very uncomfortable folding stock. Things I like about it: history, reputation, looks, name, how it impresses other people, how rare it is, how special it is. That's what I like about the Uzi. There were other copies made, like the BA 93, 94, Myanmar made those. The Strojanica in Croatia, Norinco had ones. The Stava M94 made some. I don't know if those were full-on auto, so there you go. We are done, boys. So is it the shittiest submachine gun in the world? Absolutely not. But like I said, under the ever-watching eye of an armor department, I think the guns ran quite well. But once they get out in the wild and maybe some things get bent or changed by previous users, could be problematic. I don't know if it's the best design in the world. I do think it's basically over-touted a lot. It's damn heavy. It's very uncomfortable in most respects. I can't imagine having this in full loaded form that I'm trekking around with it. It's going to be damn near 10 pounds. And then each magazine is heavy. But apparently they used them and they loved them, and apparently it would have worked. Otherwise, they would have replaced it. And we're done. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. Join me in Rumble. Rumble is our free speech platform. You should be there already. If you're not, you're a loser. I'll see you over at Rumble and also the Patreon Clubhouse. Giddy up. Yes, sir. You in the back. Did you have another question?